So totally different from my aunt. And in fact, I walked down the aisle to Dodie Lee. It goes Dodie Lee, da 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 da. So I walked down to the aisle with that. All right. So anyway, let me just take in quickly. Helene is here, and Linda just checking in, and Sherry, Lynn, good. And Beryl, hi Beryl, and Beryl. Okay, and Paula, good to see you.
Thank you.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Okay, so far we have 5, and we'll check in a little bit. Okay, so if you got my email, I sent you the 4 verses from Lecha Dodi with the English side by side, which was cut and pasted. And I wanted to do a review of the letter Samach and Sin, both have an S sound, and the Chet, because in, oh, hi, Michelle. In the Lecha Dodi text, you're going to see some words that use the Sin. So you need to be familiar with what it looks like, okay? The Sin and the Samach. The Sin with the dot on the left, and then the Samach, which looks like a little barrel-shaped letter. And then we have the Chet. So that's what I wanted to start with. That comes from the Shalom Aleichem workbook. I sent those pages. And on page 51, where it says Lecha Dodi at the top, there's words that rhyme. So, and on the bottom, it says matching ideas. And those are phrases that come from Lecha Dodi that mean the same thing. They're like synonyms. So when you see that, it means the same. So we'll go through those quickly. But I wanted to start off with a question to think about when we think about Lecha Dodi. So most of you have been to Friday night services at one time. We don't do Lecha Dodi on Shabbat morning. So since it means come, my beloved, what do you think is the significance? Who is the beloved? And so we have a marriage. We have
The
a
Sabbath.
chatan
The
and
Sabbath.
kala.
The Sabbath.
Okay.
Yeah. Shabbat.
All right. So yes, the Sabbath, but when we do a little more personification,
Would be God.
um,
Elohim.
which one is God? Okay, who's God?
My beloved.
Is it? All
Or
right.
which
So the chatan is Israel, the Jewish people, Am Yisrael. The bride, the kala, is Shabbat, but also the symbolism, they're intertwined, it's kind of like a Havdalah candle, you know, you've got this little intertwining thing, and that is God. So my beloved is the chatan, speaking about God and the spiritual relationship, the loving relationship between the Jewish people and God. So the question I just quickly wanted to start off with, first of all, the format is an acrostic. So who knows what an acrostic is? Hi, Janice. What is an acrostic, Beryl?
One word after another filled in. That's
No, that's like a crossword puzzle. No, but an acrostic in the liturgy.
Oh, using one letter in each.
Right. To do what? So an acrostic we find in Ashrei.
Ashrei, yes.
Your
Right.
favorite, Ashrei.
Our favorite.
Each
So the first letter of each line or verse spells out the name of the author, the writer. In this case, it's Shlomo Alkabetz, but what spelled out is Shlomo Halevi. And I'll prove it to you afterwards. Now, that does not include the refrain, the Lecha Dodi. It starts with the verses, the first letter in the verse. And so I will show you how that works. Okay, so here's the question. Has anyone ever been to an Orthodox wedding? Or
Yes.
ultra-Orthodox, or Hasidic? Okay. So there's a big fuss that's made about the bride before the wedding. And then when the boy chicks come dancing in, they come, you know, with the chatan, then it's a whole big thing and they sing and it's very joyous. So this is a question I want to ask you. How do they treat the bride at a wedding, any wedding? How is the bride treated?
Like a queen.
Queen, yeah. like a
Okay,
queen.
like a queen. In what way? In what way? That's good, but in what way do you?
She's
So-
kept separate and special in a
Right.
special chair.
Right, she's separated from her groom, right? She's with
Right.
the women,
Right.
and she's like on a little dais in a chair. And what's the custom with the Hasidim? I know, like with Lubavitch, little girls go and they sit by her. Why do little girls go and sit by the bride? It's like a special honor. What do they hope to get from the bride? Not candy, not money. A blessing. It's supposed to be a bride on her wedding day is supposed to be able to give, hi Sherry, blessings to people. So she's supposed to give you a special blessing being a bride. And of course, she's dressed special from everybody else, and everybody compliments her. And then during the wedding itself, what happens? The women get together with the bride, and what do they do with her? They dance,
Yes.
they sing, they entertain her, they do shtick, they have hula hoops and all kinds of stuff, and funny hats and noisemakers, and they're supposed to make her happy, supposed to rejoice with the bride, and they sing to her. In fact, at my daughter's wedding, they took the napkins off the tables because she's Chabad. They put the napkins together, and in her wedding gown, the long gown, and the heels, she had to jump rope with the napkins. That's and she did. You have to lift up your skirt and you have to jump rope, and that's one of the things. So she's blessed, she's honored, she's entertained, right? She's very special. So she is the beloved, Dodi. So lecha means come, Dodi, come, my beloved. And there is the groom, there is the Israelite people speaking to God. I just wanted to read you some very, very short readings that I found in Siddur Lev Shalem. I thought this is very nice. This says Shabbat, Israel's partner. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish taught, the day of Shabbat came. So this is the Sabbath day. It's a day speaking. It's anthropomorphic here. Came before the Holy One, came before God. So Shabbat, the day of Shabbat comes and says, Creator of the world, every day has a partner. Sunday has Monday, Tuesday has Wednesday, Wednesday has Thursday. But I have nobody. This is Sunday, Monday, yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. How would that be? Anyway, it says did I do it wrong? Let's see, there's 7 days. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
Thursday, Friday.
Thursday, Friday. And Saturday is nobody to pair up. So it's
Special day.
I have no partner. The Holy One replied, Israel shall be your partner. And when Israel stood at Sinai, God said to them, remember my promise to Shabbat, that Israel, the Jewish people, will be your partner. Thus it is written, remember the day of Shabbat to keep it holy. And then there's something else which really is really nice. This is about come, my beloved. You shall call Shabbat a delight. That's in Isaiah. What does call mean? It means that one should invite her as one invites a guest to one's home, a delight. One should invite her as a guest to a home that is ready with prepared food on the table and drink, more than on the other days. So in all the liturgy, Shabbat is extolled as being separate, as being different, and a day of gladness and joy, like a bride, like you're treating a bride. Okay, so let's start with a page 50 with the letter Samech, if everybody has that. All right, so I need someone just to go over the vowels on line 1. Michelle, can you do that for us, line 1?
Sure. So, si, say, se, sa, so, what was that, so?
Yes.
Okay, and so, su, and sh.
Excellent. Okay, so line 2, we have a few words there. Janice, would you like to do that? Line 2?
Sure.
See, so,
The first
Oh,
one is a
sir.
schwa. Yeah, so,
so, su, sir, segula, so, sorry, did I make a
so,
mistake?
and there's that
So,
final face of feet. Very good.
So,
Mhm.
su, na, sucha,
Very nice. Okay, there's 2 words on line 3, Beryl.
Tula,
Mhm.
aim,
And
Sugula.
right, is nation, like, you know, when they go to a parade, Yisrael, Yisrael Chai. So that's Does anyone know what the word segula means? That's another way to refer to Israel. Segula, it means a treasure. So the phrase segula means the treasured nation. Okay, that's a nice way to refer to Israel. Okay, line 4, we have a couple of phrases here. Anybody up for it? Sherry Lynn?
Sof, Sof, Ma'aseh, Sof, Ma'aseh, Mahaz, Shava, Maha, Shava,
That's it.
Tehillah.
Very nice. Very nice. Line 5, Helene?
Nasucha, Merosh, Mikedem, Nisukha.
Very good. Nice. Tov ma'od. Linda, you want to take line 6?
Nisi,
Mhm.
Manos, Rahu,
It's just a vav.
oh, Vahu, Nisi, Vumanos, Lee.
Umanosly. Okay, does that sound familiar to anybody that does?
Yes,
Where does that come
Manos
from?
sounds
Merosh?
familiar.
Vehu nisi umanosli.
Adon olam?
B'yom mekra. Adon olam. Okay, so some of these phrases, this whole phrase, the whole string of words should start to be familiar when you see them. Even when you see them in another context, you don't see them with the song here, but you've heard that, right? You've sung it a million times. Okay, so Behunisi Umanosli, okay, and you can probably sing the rest. Okay, and now line 7. All right, who wants to do line 7? Line 7. How about Paula? Want to do line 7?
I don't have that page in front of me. But I'm sitting
Okay.
with Lahadudi, but not that page.
Okay, fine. Michelle, you want to do line 7?
Sure. Kosi,
Wait, what
Menat,
is a kos? Kosi, menat kosi, biyom ekra, I don't know it. Kos is a cup. Kosi, God fills my cup. And when they talk about filling your cup, it's usually with happiness. Because
so
wine is a
Kosi,
symbol of,
Kosi is cup,
kosi is my cup.
my
Kos
cup.
is a cup, my cup. Mhm.
Kosi, Menat, Kosi.
Right, fills my cup. And you know who fills your cup. And then 8, Janice?
sucha, hapores,
Good.
suchat, shalom.
Mhm. Right. Now, the Sukkot is referring to a sukkah, and a Sukkot Shalom is the sukkah, like a hut or a little protected place of peace. Okay, so on the bottom of page 50, chet. So we have the chet here. What other letter has a ch sound, the gargly sound? chap. And then, of course, we have in the word Baruch, we have a final chap, right? Chap sofit, so is your own feet. So now, again, we're going to have some words that may start to sound familiar. Okay. Sherry Lynn, line 9.
Bedi, bur, bedi bur,
Yes,
echad,
good.
8, ham,
Wait, no, look. That's a lamed.
el,
Good.
ham, you, chad, ham yuchad,
Mhm.
Adonai, echad, ushmo, echad.
Okay, so that phrase we see a lot. Adonai echad u'shmo echad. God is one, and his name is one. Okay, this basis of monotheism, of course. Okay, now, when we're going through, if you sing and not just recite the lines in L'chadodi, you'll see that the cantor sometimes, when you have like this next line has a big word, it's B'ma chashava, but sometimes they shorten the vowel so that it's singable. So it might sound more like B'ma chashava instead of B'ma chashava, because there's too many syllables to get in. Okay, so if you hear the cantor saying that, it's not that he doesn't know how to read Hebrew, it's that it's poetic license, it's cantorial license, so that you can actually sing it. Okay, so if you hear B'machshava, you're not gonna hear B'machshava because he's gonna run out of breath on that one word, okay? I'm just telling you that that's what happened, because I spoke to my cantor and I said, oh, I noticed you pronounce something this way. I had a lot of nerve to say it. He said, yes, it's because when we're davening, you have to sometimes shorten the word a little bit. Okay, so it's allowed. B'machashava techila v'nismecha v'nagila. Nagila v'nismecha v'nagila. Does anyone know what simcha is? What's a simcha?
Happy day.
Joyous occasion.
Okay, so here in the word v'nismecha, you have samach. You have a sin, a mem, and a chet right in the middle. You got a lot of happiness and joy right in the middle of that word. V'nismacha, and we will rejoice. V'nagila, hava nagila. What does that mean? Come, let us have a good time. Let us rejoice. V'nismacha v'nagila means let's have a joyous time. Let's be happy. Let's rejoice. So this girl's name in Hebrew, Gila. Okay, what do you think Gila means?
Happy.
Joy. Gila means happiness. It's a nice name. My daughter's name is Aliza, which also means like happiness. Okay, line 11, Sherry Stein, take it away.
Kadesh.
Look at the vowels. Cha.
Dash.
Good. Chadash.
Sorry. Shir.
Shir.
Kadesh.
Chadash.
Od. Or. Dash.
Chadash, the same word, Chadash. Chadash is new. Shir Chadash, a new song, or Chadash, a new light. Okay, line 12, Beryl.
Oh. Afar.
Okay, so look at the letters carefully. The second letter is a fe, which has the sound of F. Yif.
Yifra. No. Yeah. Yifra.
Yeah, Yifrach. Yifrach. You have to go at the end. Yifrach.
Rach.
That's good.
Sadek. Sadek.
Sadiq.
Sadiq. Sadiq.
Sadiq. You know what a tzaddik is.
Yes. That's Sadiq.
If I sing this melody, da 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 dum, da 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 da.
The music does
Ay,
not
ay,
help
ay.
me.
All right. Sadiq Katamar.
Oh,
Yifrach. And there's
Hatamar.
another one. Sadiq Katamar Yifrach Yifrach. Sadiq da 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 da. Sadiq Katamar Yifrach. Okay. And a tamar is a date palm. And I have a friend whose name is Tamar. Sadiq Katamar Yifrach. A tzaddik, like a date palm, will be fertile. Nice. Okay.
So I have a quick question.
13.
I have a quick question,
Yeah.
Carol. So the cheh at the end is not silent then. You're supposed to pronounce it.
Absolutely.
Yifrach. Okay.
Yifrach. That would be
Okay.
like the final chaf. Only the chet can be in the middle or the beginning of a word, whereas the final chaf can only be at the end.
And right.
This,
Okay.
this is a chet. Okay, that's the all-weather chet. It could be any place. Okay.
Other. All right.
So 13, Helene.
Oh, okay. Chai, Chaim, L'chaim, Haim, Hayenu, Shehecheyanu.
Yeah, I'm really proud of you, the way she took her time, and you could see she was really reading it and thinking. I could hear I could smell the wood burning, but she was looking at every letter and every vowel very carefully. And the last one, when she got to, she didn't just say, I can't do it. She said, Shehecheyanu, 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 V'kimanu, V'higianu, Lazman Hazeh. We're going to see that next week. Hanukkah's coming, right?
Yes.
So you got to brush up on your brachot. So how many, just a quick Hanukkah question. How many blessings do we recite on the candles on the first night only?
3,
Three. And all other nights we recite?
2.
2,
And what is the one that we don't say the other nights? We only say the first, Shehechianu, V'kimanu, V'higianu.
Yakianu, because it's a new
Shehianu.
beginning, new.
No, it's because the first time we got here,
Right.
God brought us in health to this day. Shehechianu, V'kimanu, V'higianu, Azman Hazeh. And then that is only on the first night, like the first night on a holiday, the first night on Hanukkah. Okay. So we get to line 14 and we have Shehechianu, V'kimanu, V'higianu, Lazman Hazeh. Oh, right. We're going to be using that next Sunday night when we light the candles, right? Shehechianu, V'kimanu, V'higianu, Lazman Hazeh. Okay, let's go on to page 51. So when they say rhymes, if you look at the right-hand side of the page, on the top right-hand side, there are 3 words that rhyme. Opposite them are another 3 that rhyme. I want you to look at it carefully. What's the difference between those 2 sets of words? Look at the end.
They're the same. No,
No.
They're not the same.
Would you explain what we're supposed to be looking at again? I didn't quite
Okay.
understand.
So the top on page 51, you have the word kala,
Yeah,
and then opposite that, you have v'ne'elcha. Do they
Yeah.
rhyme?
No.
They don't rhyme.
No.
The
Why
does that
first set
rhyme?
of 3,
why does that rhyme? That
the
doesn't
first
rhyme.
set of
rhyme at the
3
end.
end in what? The
At the end
first set
with
of
the-
3,
Yeah.
Oh, they all end
And
with a hey.
in the hay.
right? A hey, and a hey
Yeah.
is silent. And the second set on the opposite side, v'ne'elcha, they end with a chaf.
Stop it.
So
Yes.
that's not silent. They have a ch. So you have kala, nikabla, belit hila. Those all have that ha at the end. La, la, la. Okay, they end with a hey. Hey at the end is silent. When you look at the ones opposite them, you have v'ne'elcha. That's a chaf that's sounded. Habracha. Nisucha. Okay, so these are some of the things when you look at something quickly, You might not catch it, but you have to look at the whole word, even the ending. You can't just assume that you know it. You really need to read it, in other words. Now you have the next set, you have Tuchila,
It's another pumpkin.
Vinagila, and Chala. Also three with a la, la, la. And opposite them, you have a different set. You have
Ray.
Tifratzi,
Ray.
Ha'aritzi, Ben Part C. You have a tzadi in there at the end, C. Then you go down a little further, you have Echad, Hamyuchad, and Echad. So the word Echad is one. Hamyuchad means like unique. God is one, only. And opposite that, you have Bala, Uvatsachola, and Sigula. So they're groups of three words that rhyme, but you have to be careful that when you have a hey on the end, it's silent. If you have a chaf and a hey, it's cha. Okay, now matching ideas. Okay, I'll have you guys say them, and then I'll tell you what the matching idea is. It's not something that's that important for you to know, but they want you to do. Who can do that first line? Janice, will you do the first line under matching ideas?
לך דודי, לכו ונהנה לך.
Good. So lechadodi means come, my beloved, and lechu is just plural. Lechu v'neilcha, come, let us come. So that just means like come. That's just an invitation to the from the groom to the bride. So to come. Okay. Another translation for dodi would be friend, which is actually very nice because when you think of your husband or your boyfriend, it should be your friend, your confidant, and your love, right? I mean, the relationship between a man and a woman, a husband and wife, it should be, you could be friends with that person. So dodi is like my beloved and my friend. Lecha dodi, come my beloved. And that's the groom, again, which is the Israelite people speaking to God, who's the bride. Come my beloved, my friend. It's very nice, the translations in Hebrew. Okay, so Karen, would you like to do the second line? Are you up to it?
I don't think so. I can
Okay.
try.
All right.
Lakara.
Likrat, likrat,
Lekar likbrach. Lekarata. Shabbat.
Shabbat. Likrat, kala, likrat, Shabbat. So
Right.
there it's just saying to greet, likrat is to greet, the kala is the bride, like chosin kala, mazel tov, okay? Chatan kala, and Shabbat, greet the Sabbath. So they're making a little mathematical equation that the bride is Shabbat, the Sabbath bride. You've heard that phrase. And not the princess bride, the Sabbath bride. Okay. The third one, let's see, Sherry Stein. Dibor. Okay, good. Now notice the difference. I want you to see visually the dalet and the resh. Sherry, how do the dalet and the resh in the word dibor look different? In Hebrew, you really have to look at the letters.
Because the line over the dalet is longer.
Right, it extends. It's like a doorpost, okay? And the resh is round. The resh is round. The dalet is like a door, and delet happens to be the word for door in Hebrew. Delet, okay, and it looks like the top of the door, right? Okay. Dibor echad, and this next phrase.
El
Okay, El, which is God. Ham, that's the end of the syllable. Ham, you, chad. Again, we have a letter, there's a consonant and a vowel. So we have ham, that's a syllable. Then the yud goes with the u vowel, you. And then
Chad.
Ha, and we finish with Dad. Ham Yuchad. El Ham Yuchad. God who is unique. Okay, Beryl, line 4.
Adonai Echad. Ushamo Echad.
Right. Okay. God is one and his name is one, right? Okay. Michelle, line 5.
Okay. Venish Necha.
Okay, is that niche?
Oh, Venice. Venice.
Aha, good.
Vena Gila. Besi.
Okay, we shall rejoice and be happy, and then
Besimcha. Besimcha. Uv Zachala.
Uvtzachala, the two dots Uvtzachala. It's the same thing with simcha, with happiness and extolling God and praise. And now the last one's pretty easy. Helene, line 6.
Bo'i chala, bo'i chala.
Okay, and what does chala mean? Kala or chala, it's the same word. And don't tell me that it means something that you eat on Shabbat. Shabbat, it's not. It's
I
not a
remember.
braided bread.
Right.
I don't remember.
A bride. Okay, so bo'i means come. It doesn't mean come you braided bread. It means come you bride. Bo'i chala. So chala or kala is the same thing. Okay.
Yeah, I
All
have
right,
heard
so this
that
is-
in modern day English, somebody say Bo'i, come. Let's go.
Bowie, yeah, Bowie. In Hebrew, in
Yeah.
Israel, they would say,
Yeah.
if they're speaking to a woman, a female, they say, Bowie, no, Bowie, come already.
Oh, how do
And
they say it
Bo-
to a male?
They wouldn't.
Oh,
You know, a male who considers himself a male, it would be Bo.
oh.
Okay, and Bo'i. So in Hebrew, you have masculine and feminine on commands, masculine and feminine, just like well, you don't have it in the Romance languages. You don't have it in French and Spanish. It's kind of unique that you have the masculine and the feminine. Okay,
There's a
so that's why it looks
parsha, there's a
different.
parsha called Bo.
Bo.
Bo,
Which
there's a
means
parsha.
come. Yeah, it's in Exodus, I think. Bo. Yeah, it's about, I think that's about the Exodus. Okay, so we have that samech and the sin and the chet. We're gonna make sure we know those letters. We'll put this away. All right, so you don't have the whole of Lecha Dodi, but let me just show you. Remember I said that this is Shlomo Halevi, and this is an acrostic. So if you look at verse 1, the first verse, the word is shamor. So that's the shin in Shlomo. In verse 2, you have the lamed. That's the lamed in his name, Shlomo. And Shlomo is shin lamed. And then the next word, the verse 3, it would be a mem, and in verse 4, it's a hey. So if you take, there are 9 verses. So the first 4 verses are shin lamed mem hey. They spell out Shlomo. And then verses 5, 6, 7, and 8 spell out Halevi, that each verse begins with just the beginning of the verse, with the Hey, Lamed, the Vav, and the
I don't
Yud.
see the hay. Wait a minute, Shlomo.
Because
Shlomo.
that, I only gave you, okay, you
We
see
don't
the
have
Vav.
those.
Yeah,
What?
you don't, thank you. You don't have 5 and 6, you only have 7 and 8, so. and the 8 and
Oh,
9.
okay.
It's
I
the
got it.
Yud, and it is nothing
Okay.
from 9.
Okay,
It's in verses 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll check it out. 5, 6, 7, 8. There's
Okay.
no letter from 9.
okay.
Shlomo Halevi, Solomon the Levi. Okay, so now we have this particular prayer has a refrain in between all the verses. So you have Lecha Dodi, Lekrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Lekabbalah. And when you finish each verse, you can see that in small print next to it, it says Lecha Dodi. That means say that line. So that one is going to be in between all the verses. Okay, and you know, if you go to services, you finish the verse and then you go back to the refrain. Lecha Dodi, Lekrat Kala, B'nai Shabbat Nekabala. And then you go on to the next verse. And when you finish that, you go back. Lecha Dodi Lecha. Okay. No matter what melody. That's in between all the verses. That's the refrain. Okay. So let's say this. Say it after me. Lecha Dodi
Kala.
Likrat Kala
Likrat
Kala,
Pnei Shabbat
Panay
Panay
Shabbat,
Shabbat.
Shabbat.
Nikabala.
Nikabala,
Okay, likabel is to receive. So you are come, my beloved, likrat, towards to greet the bride in the face of Sabbath. Like at the Sabbath, let's greet her. You have to read it sort of backwards. Okay, it says in English, come, my beloved friend, to greet the bride. Let us welcome the Sabbath. And so I read that they used to start the service with this one, the Kabbalat Shabbat. But I think in my shul, they finish it. It's towards the end of the service. What about in your shuls? When did they do Lecha Dodi?
end of the
Towards
service.
the end?
It's the beginning.
It's closer to the beginning for
Beginning.
us.
Kind of
I
in the
think
middle
it's
of
done
it.
before the rabbi speaks.
So we have it at the end of the Kabbalat Shabbat, but the
Right.
tradition used to be at the beginning, but we have it at the end. Okay, closer to when you're ending it and the Kiddush. All right, so, but it's not a hard and fast rule. That is up to the cantor. Okay, he can do it any way he wants. All right, so Lecha Dodi Lekrat Kala Pnei Shabbat Mikabala. Who was say that whole line? Beryl, can you say that whole line? You don't have to sing it. Just say that whole line, that refrain.
You don't want me to
Lecha
sing it.
Dodi.
Adudi, Lekrat Kala, B'nai Shabbat, Nekabala.
Okay, Janice, you do it. I want to make sure everybody can get that perfectly.
Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Panay Shabbat Nekabala.
Okay, one more. Helene.
Okay. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Panay Shabbat Nikabala.
Okay. Let me see. Did I see that? Okay, Rhoda, how about you?
I knew you were gonna come. Lecha
I didn't
Dodi.
see you on, I have to get.
I've been
straight.
hiding.
Yeah, I know. I got you.
Okay, just wait a sec. Lecha Dodi Likrat.
Yes.
Kala Panay
Mhm.
Shabbat Nekabala.
Very good. Nikabala. Okay. Paula, you do that one.
Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Pnei Shabbat Nekabla.
Yeah, I'm very pleased at the way everybody is really taking their time and to pronounce it, because the object here is not speed, not yet. The only way you'll get speed is when you start to look at those lines and it's like a visual recognition, just like a child learning to read. There's certain words that become their sight words. That's what the teachers call it. And when you look at that, when you get Lecha Dodi, you're going to know the rest of the line the next time that comes up. But it's important that whatever you log into your brain, that you remember, we're not going to say for Richard Sands, it's got to be correct. And the way you're going to get it correct is by taking your time and really reading it like this carefully, which you're all doing, which is really wonderful. Now, in the Torah, we have the 10 Commandments. It appears twice. The 10 Commandments appears in Exodus and in Deuteronomy. In Exodus, the 4th commandment says, Zachor et Yom HaShabbat lekodsho. Remember the Sabbath day. Later on in Deuteronomy, in Devarim, we have Shamor, guard, keep, observe. Shamor et Yom HaShabbat lekodsho. to keep it holy. So we have here, we have the reminiscence of those two different versions of the 10 Commandments, Aseret HaDibrot. We have Shamor V'Zachor. So it's guard and remember. So keep it and remember it. So I guess have a good Shabbat, and you had a nice Shabbat dinner, and you did candles and washing the hands and all the stuff. Log it in. Remember that, how nice an experience that was. Remember Zachor, and do it again, Shamor, and keep it. Keep on, keep doing it. Good job. Keep going. Okay, so those two are like side by side, Shamor v'Zachor, and it's a very famous expression that Shamor v'Zachor b'dibor echad. So in one utterance, okay, that's from the commandments. Shamor v'Zachor b'dibor echad. Okay, everybody, Shamor
Or
v'Zachor
Or,
b'dibor echad. So this translation says preserve and remember in a single utterance. Okay, preserve and remember. And then it says Hishmianu
Yanu,
El
El,
Hamiyuchad.
Hamiyuchad.
Okay, now let me see who's going to be a super student here. In that line, we have two words, Hishmianu and Hamiyuchad, which have the roots that you should be able to recognize. Do you see anything? Look in the middle of the word to find the shoresh. You should see three letters that look familiar.
Well, the mem with the yud.
Okay, well, you're looking at the last one. The mem and three letters.
The Anu.
No, that just means us,
There's
Anu.
3 letters.
A root in Hebrew is usually 3 letters, and they have to be consecutive. They have to be in the same order, and they have to be together.
So Shemor is like
What
Shema.
about Shin, Mem, and Ayin? Does that ring any bells?
Like Shema.
Da-da-da-da-da,
Yeah.
da-da-da-da. Oh, yeah, what?
M-U.
Okay, Michelle. There's no class next week, Michelle. Okay, because it's turkey time. It's Yom HaHodiah. All right, so Shin Mem Ayin, does that ring any bells? Shema,
Shema.
Shema, here.
Wow.
Hishmianu. So that means cause made us hear. And what does El mean? El means God. God caused us to hear. And how about Yud, Chet, Dalet? Echad. What is Echad?
Echad.
Ma Yisrael, Adonai, Eloheinu, Adonai.
One is Echad,
One.
One, right. So you have Yud, Chet, Dalet, Echad. Okay. So it says the Almighty One caused us to hear from the commandments, Zachor v'Shamor, okay? Remember and guard. All right, then we have Adonai, and now this is a very easy line, the third line. Adonai Echad. Adonai Echad, everybody?
Adonai
Echad. Ushemo Echad. So God is one and his name is one. Okay, we don't have in Judaism and monotheism, we don't have the Christian concept of a Trinity. We don't have a Father, a Son, and a Holy Spirit. We have God. That's it. It's one. It's not 3. So that's monotheism, right? So it's different. A lot of similarities between Christianity and Judaism, I will say. But the basic idea is that God is one unity, one complete within itself. Okay? Adonai Echad, Ushemo Echad, and his name is one. We only have one name. We have many different names, like nicknames for God. We have Adonai, we have Elohim, we have, Hashem, but the being, the essence is one. Okay, and that's very important here. Okay, and then the last line in that first verse is l'shem, everybody, l'shem,
L'shem.
The shame.
ul tiferet,
Tiferet.
v'lit hila.
The heat.
Hila.
Heat hila.
Now, I'm going to say those 4 verses, and then I'm going to ask for somebody who can say all four. Okay, let's see what we can do. So listen carefully and look. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, hishmi'anu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shem ul tiferet, v'lit hila. And then l'cha dodi, and then is the refrain. Would anybody like to try the whole thing for 4 lines, 4 verses? All right, Linda. All right, she's going for the ring on the merry-go-round.
Shemor v'sikor v'dibor echad. Hishmi'anu el ham yuchad. Adonai echad ushmo echad. L'shem vul tiferet v'lit hila.
Were you a star pupil in Hebrew school, Linda?
Excuse me?
I said, were you a star pupil in Hebrew school?
No,
Well, you are now.
thank you.
That was perfect. That was really, really great. You get 2 stars for that one. That was excellent. Mitsuyan. Okay, now let's pay attention. Very impressed. Let's look at the second verse. I'll say it and you say it after me. We'll take it a little at a time. Likrat,
Likrat,
Shabbat,
Shabbat.
Lichu,
Lechu.
V'neilcha.
Nail.
Next line. Ki,
Ki.
he, Mikor,
Mikor.
Habracha.
Habracha.
Next line. Meirosh,
Rosh.
Mikedem,
Mikedem.
Nisucha.
Nisucha.
Sof,
So.
Maaseh,
Maaseh.
B'machashava,
Machashava.
Tehila.
Tehillah.
Okay, so we saw in the preview to today's lesson from the workbook, they pulled out some of the harder phrases and words. So that's the way that we previewed it and to begin it. Who's gonna try for this one?
I'll
Another
try.
ring from who's it? I'll try.
Me.
Beryl, go for it. All right. Oh, you want to do it together? You know what? It won't come out nicely because of the computer. But Beryl, you can do it, and then
The
Janice.
accents with Janice and I do not at all. New
I can
York.
try.
No,
All right.
your accent
Beryl,
will
you
put me to
go
shame.
first. I love
Oh.
Janice's accent.
Yes, better than mine.
Me? I have an accent?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
That's funny. I told you, when I was teaching out in the boonies out on Long Island in Southampton, and the student says, "We have an accent." I said, "I have an accent?" That was the end of the conversation.
Okay.
All right, Beryl.
Lekrat Shabbat. V'chu. Oh God, like that word stumps me.
Because the letter is not the word. That's a nun.
Lecha.
All right, you nailed it. Remember that, you nailed it. Nailcha.
Kihu,
V'neilcha.
kihu,
What, key, look at the vowels. It rhymes with key.
makor,
Wait, go back. Key, what's the
Key.
second word? It's not who, it's he.
he,
Key,
kihi,
key.
kihi, makor,
Mhm.
ha, bracha, habracha,
Abra- Hmm? Use your head for the next one.
I'm trying to figure out if that's a resh or a dalit, you know.
It is a resh, it's round,
Resh,
it's
okay.
round.
It looks a rounder, but there's a dot at both ends of it on my copy.
Oh, well,
Ru-
okay, the dot is on the left, that's a O vowel. May,
Marush,
Roche.
Mirosh,
Mhm,
Mikadem,
mhm.
Nesocha.
Nisucha. One more line.
Oh, Sof,
Mhm.
Ma'aseh,
Ma,
Secha,
yes. Ma'aseh.
Maaseh.
The hey at the end is silent. Ma'aseh.
B, ma, B'mat,
B'macha.
B'machasha,
Yeah, b'machashava. One more word.
Tehillah,
Very good. All right, Janice, let's hear that nice accent.
Le shame ou le.
Wait a minute. The second, where are you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
L'krat.
Oh,
The second verse, the
Sorry.
krat.
Les crêtes, Shabbat, le chou, venelcha, ki he, makor, habracha, merosh,
Yes.
mi kedem, nesucha, sof, or sof,
Mhm.
Maase B'maha Shava Tehila.
Bravo. Okay, nice job, ladies. Okay, so we've got 2 more to do, and that's going to be your homework to study this. And I would suggest that you look online and find the tune that your cantor uses. Go to YouTube and then listen to it while you're looking at it a few times. Listen and then just follow it. And then when you get to the point where maybe you could sing along with it. Okay, but take the one that you're familiar with. So when you go to services, you're going to hear that, and that's what you want to plug into, right? Because that's going to make more sense to you. Okay, so the third one, so it's the end now. Now, Yamin is to the right and Smol is left. I'm a lefty, not a leftist, but I'm a lefty. Okay, Yamin is right and Smol is left. So that's what we have. And verse 8, we have Yamin. Everybody, Yamin,
Yamin,
Smol,
Small.
Tifrotzi.
Tifrosi.
Right, remember our friend Sadi, Tifrotzi. Everything is syllables. Tifrotzi.
When
Dancing
I was-
partners. Consonant with a vowel.
When I was in Israel, this word you said it means right. I remember people giving directions and they would say Yamina and something else. I don't know what left was.
Yamina is straight. Smola. Yamina means to the right, and Smola means
Okay,
to
so
the
that
left. Lifamim forward, Achora is back. Okay. Okay, Yamin Usmol, very good. Tifrotzi. Okay, next line. Ve'et
Et,
Adonai Ta'aritzi.
Ta'aritzi.
See, this is a poem. That's why the sounds at the end, it rhymes. It has a cadence, it has rhythm, and it has rhyme, even though it's in Hebrew. Al yad ish,
Ish.
Ben.
not ish.
Ben.
I thought I was saying ish ben
Ish ben.
partzi
Partzi.
Artsy.
v'nismecha
V'nismecha.
v'nagila
Nagila.
hava nagila. How to what three? By the time they got to this verse, they probably had a few cups. But not nismecha. Let's celebrate v'nagila and let's be joyous. Okay, who can do verse 8? This is some small words. Come on, Rhoda. I know you want to
Oh,
do
hi.
this.
I sit back in my chair so you don't see me. Yamin.
I see you now. I see
know.
you.
Okay, Yamin, Usmol, Tif Rodzi, Vaet Adonai, Ta'aritzi, Al Yad, Yar. Yar?
Yad.
Yad, it is a
Yad.
Yad, okay, Yad.
You know, like the pointer used for the Torah.
Yeah,
Yad.
yeah, okay, yeah, oh, Yad, okay. Aish,
Nope. Look at the
uh,
vowel.
oh, E. Ish,
Ish. Mhm.
Ish. Ben Paretzi,
Part C. Mhm. You got all those beautiful tzadis. One more line.
okay. Vanis Macha, Van Gila.
Very good. V'nismecha v'nagila. Let's be joyous. Let's have a good time. They're having fun at this wedding, let me tell you. Okay, so the last one. Now, we do something special when we get to the end of the last verse. What do? Sherry, what do?
We turn
Turn
to
around.
Okay,
face the
so
back.
we are facing the ark, and then what do?
We turn around and face
Before
the
we
back.
bow, we are facing the ark, and everybody all of a sudden turns around and faces the door, faces the back of the shul. And then when we get to the end, Bo'i chala, Bo'i chala.
Why
All right, we bow to- You can bow right or left or right. I asked my rabbi and he didn't give me an explanation. He says, it doesn't matter.
Why do we
I said,
bow?
so what way do you?
Why do we bow?
Well, you're actually now greeting the bride. This was all like the introduction. And now, come bride, oh come bride. The bride is here. And now you're gonna face the front. Okay, it's just a song about, it says, come in peace, crown of her husband, come with rejoicing and good cheer, amidst the faithful of the treasured people. Come bride, here comes the bride. Now, when you're at a wedding, when the bride comes down the aisle, we all stand. Everybody stands when the bride comes. No? You've been to a wedding lately?
Yep.
So when
No.
here comes the bride, everybody stands up and we look in awe at this gorgeous girl. So we're facing the bride has come down the aisle, we're standing and we're facing forward. So we saw that she was coming. You know, it reminds me of like on Yom Kippur, when the cantor is coming down the aisle, he starts in the back.
Yeah.
And we're turning around, looking at him coming. And then as he comes forward, he's like equal to us. And then he goes forward and we look towards there. So we're turning around, we're expecting a bride to come in, the doors will open and the bride will come in. And then we follow her and our eyes are forward. So we're watching the procession of the bride coming in. This is God entering the synagogue. It's a big moment here. It's a big climactic moment at the end of L'chadoti. Okay, so the end is Bo'i v'shalom,
Bo'i shalom.
Ateret,
Ateret.
Bala,
Allah.
Gam b'simcha,
Gam b'simcha.
Uvetzachola.
Uva Salah.
Toch,
Toch.
Emuneh,
Emuneh.
Am Segula,
Segula.
Bo'i Chala,
Oi.
Chala.
Oi.
O'i chala.
Oi,
Come,
chala.
O Sabbath bride. Okay, I had wanted to do something with you before. We just have a few minutes. So this is supposed to be like man and is meeting the divine here with the bride. That's the symbolism. So that man has a chance to interface with God. It's the beginning of the Sabbath on Friday night. This is very nice ideas. Okay. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to see, we're going to play a little Yeshli game just quickly for a few minutes if you can stay with it. I am going to say a word and I want you to find it. And I'm going to go in chronological order. In other words, I'm going to start at the beginning and make my way down the verses. Okay. All right. So let's see if you can find the word. And then you'll say it's refrain or it's verse 1, line 1, verse 1, line 2, like that. Where can you find the word Nikabala? Nikabala.
It's on the refrain, the last word.
Yep, that's
Right.
it.
Nichado di likrat kala panei Shabbat Nikabala. Very good.
Shabbat
Where
shalom,
can you
everybody.
find the expression? Shabbat shalom. So no class next week. Okay, just enjoy your Thanksgiving. Shamor v'zachor. Where is that? Shamor v'zachor.
Verse
Two
1,
words.
line 1.
Right. Okay. Good. Where is Ushmo Echad?
Third line in the verse, the last two words.
Yeah.
Very good. Where is the word sof?
So that's the bottom of
The
verse 2.
last line of the second verse.
Yeah,
First one.
first word.
Right. First word.
Yeah.
Last line, second verse. Very good.
Yeah.
Where is the word v'nagila? Die, 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 die.
Last
Nagila.
word of verse 8.
Yes.
Very good. V'nismacha v'nagila. Excellent. Where is Boi v'shalom?
First 2 words.
First 2 words of verse 9.
Yeah, yeah.
Very good. Where is Am Segula?
Next to the
third
last
line.
Last 2 words.
Last
of
2
line
words.
3.
Yeah.
Line 9.
Verse
Very
9.
good. The treasured nation. Okay. And where is Boi Chala?
The last line.
Last
Come,
line.
oh, you
Last
braided
line.
one.
In verse 9.
Should we think of it as you braided one? Chala? I'm kidding. Braided the chala. It's spelled differently. Oh, gewalt. It's hard to do that in Hebrew. Okay. So, well, it's time. That hour went very quickly, according to my opinion. So you study this, and again, try to find the melody that you like that is in your shul. And I want to tell you, ladies, you're doing excellent work. You're really reading Hebrew. Nobody's fluffing it. Nobody's faking it. You're all really reading right beautifully. Letters, vowels, dancing partners, all together. Remember, a letter has to have a vowel, and that's the way it goes. They're all partnered off, and that's your syllables. You can't read Hebrew without having the partners, letter and a vowel. Okay, and the only crazy exception we saw last week was mitzvot, where you have the vav and the dot above it. It's not mitzvot, it's mitzvot. But you're doing really great. And this is a piece of liturgy. You've got 4 out of the 9 verses. It's a really long hymn. And I would bet anything that you can now read these 4 verses, the first 2 and the last 2. And then maybe we'll fill in the next time we meet, which will be the week after Yom HaHodia, which means Thanksgiving. Hodu is India or Turkey. I don't know why India is Turkey, Hodu. Have a wonderful, I was going to say Zis Pesach, but a Zis Thanksgiving with your family, with your mishpacha. Enjoy and be healthy. And hopefully all your relatives are vaccinated, big ones and little ones. And everybody will stay safe. That's the name of the game. Stay safe. Okay, I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you
Thank you
too.
very
Happy
much.
Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble.
Thanksgiving.
Shabbat shalom.
Stay safe.
Okay, Shabbat Shalom. Enjoy.
Bye.
Okay.